Hey guys, guess what? Today, we're finally gonna find a leader! Yay! Alright, we're going to take a time loop. A great journey, all the way back to the beginning of looking for a leader. Way back in the day, there was a king named David. David was a good king chosen by God. He asked God's direction in all things. He had a close relationship with God. However, he wasn't perfect. He wanted another man's wife for himself. Her name was Bathsheba. He stole Bathsheba while her husband Uriah wasn't in Jerusalem. He was out fighting David's wars. David realized what he did was wrong, so he had the general in the battle that Uriah was in back up and let Uriah be killed so that he could cover it up. Now, David was confronted by a prophet, Nathan, about his sin. He told the story of a rich man and a poor man, and the rich man stole and cooked the poor man's pet sheep. This caused David to realize that he was doing the wrong thing, so he asked God for forgiveness. Do you think God forgave him? Of course he did. We can receive forgiveness from God as well because Jesus died on the cross for our sins. Now, David had a son whose name was Absalom. For a number of reasons, Absalom rebelled against his father and tried to make himself king. Do you think God was happy? No. So when David and Absalom's armies were fighting, what happened to Absalom? He ran and got his hair caught in a tree, where one of David's generals caught him and killed him. But David had another son, who would be known as an incredibly wise man and would be king. His name was Solomon. Solomon got his wisdom from a dream where God offered him anything he wanted, and Solomon asked for a wise and understanding heart. God was so pleased with this answer that he gave him not just wisdom, but also riches and honor. Before Solomon, people worshipped God in a tent. So Solomon built a huge temple for the glory of the Lord, that they may worship God there. Inside this temple was a symbol of God's presence that had been with them since the time of Moses. It was called the Ark of the Covenant, and it was a big golden box. Inside that temple, lots of animals were sacrificed to make up for sins. God later gave us the ultimate sacrifice, so nobody has to sacrifice animals anymore. That sacrifice was Jesus. Now, Solomon was very wise, but he wasn't perfect. He married lots of wives and let them worship their idols, and then even worshipped them himself. So God punished Solomon. He took away most of the kingdom from Solomon's family and gave it to one of his servants. Solomon's son got to keep a little bit because God still had respect for David, Solomon's father. Now Solomon's son, Rehoboam, was supposed to be king, but the 10 northern tribes would only listen to him if he lightened their taxes and work. His young friends told him he needed to show strength instead, and he listened to them and raised their taxes and work. So the 10 tribes left. Then Rehoboam did something even worse. He worshipped idols just like his mother. Rehoboam was too big for his britches and didn't follow God or God's advice, so he got attacked by Egypt. This was all because he didn't follow God. But up north, Jeroboam, the king of the 10 tribes, didn't do much better. Jeroboam also worshipped idols. He made 2 big temples, not to God, but to 2 golden cows. God tried to send him a prophet to tell him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. As a result, his arm got paralyzed and withered. Since he didn't listen to God, God gave his kingdom to a new family. So there were 4 men: David, Solomon, Rehoboam, and Jeroboam. They weren't perfect. Even David, who was loved by God and did many things well, sinned. But there was one leader who we mentioned just a little who was a perfect leader. Jesus. Jesus is the best king possible. He's perfect and is king of heaven and earth. That's your perfect leader.